Hey guys, it is MattySports bringing you my Week 14 predictions of the 2014 college football season. Last week in Week 13, I finally improved once again. Got to 8-2, still only my best record I've ever had. I've only been able to get up to 8-2, never 9-1, and never 10-0. And that probably won't happen this week because it's rivalry week, so bunch of chaos. Probably going to get most of these games wrong, but before I go into that, I want to recap Week 13 real quick. The two games I missed were North Carolina at Duke. North Carolina completely destroyed Duke, which I was pretty surprised, and Utah lost to Arizona. So those are the two games I got wrong. Harvard beat Yale. Arkansas upset Ole Miss. I was able to get that. Baylor destroyed Oklahoma State. UCLA beat USC. Wisconsin beat Iowa. Louisville barely beat Notre Dame by a missed field goal. And Minnesota beat Nebraska, and Kansas State beat West Virginia. But that was Week 13. And now we're on to my favorite week of college football, Week 14, where I have 10 games. But before I pick those 10 games, I have an honorable mention game I want to predict. It's not going to count towards my record, but I wanted to pick this game like it was on there, but I couldn't find room for it because of the just more appealing matchups than people would like. And that honorable mention game is Virginia traveling on the road to Virginia Tech. That's a pretty important rivalry for both of these schools. The reason why I'm doing like a little bonus pick for this that's not going to count is because both these teams are 5-6. Frank Beamer has gone to a bowl game. And I think in every season he's coached at Virginia Tech. I think they have a 20-something year streak of going to a bowl game, and it could be on the line, and it's on the line in this game against a rival. And Virginia Tech is at home. Mike London's a great coach for Virginia. Virginia's played a bunch of great games this year. They've had great defense. I would pick Virginia, but I'm going to have to pick Virginia Tech at home. This game's not going to count, but I feel like I should at least mention this game and the importance of this game that it is for both these schools. But that was just a little pick. Now we're getting on to the real games, where we have a matchup on Friday nights of number 13 Arizona State traveling on the road to number 11 Arizona. Now this whole year, I bashed on Arizona, and this whole year I've always praised Arizona State being a sleeper team. And it's a rivalry game. I'm going to have to switch my mind. I'm going to give some love to Arizona. I have to admit they have impressed me. Every time I've doubted them, they've been able to win and pull through. And every time I kind of think I've had hope in Arizona State, they've kind of blown it on me. So I'll pick Arizona at home with Rich Rod's amazing offense. Next, we have our ACC versus SEC rivalry game on Saturday at noon of South Carolina traveling on the road to Clemson, or number 21 Clemson. Now, the head coaches of both these schools absolutely hate each other. Dabo Swinney hates Steve Spurrier, and Steve Spurrier hates Dabo Swinney. Every meeting of this game, between these two coaches, Steve Spurrier has won. Dabo Swinney has yet to beat South Carolina, and I think that changes this year. I think Clemson will win at home, just because South Carolina had a terrible season this year. They were predicting the top 10 preseason, and they've just blundered and floundered all over the place. So I'll take Clemson at home. Next, we have another ACC versus SEC matchup of number 16 Georgia Tech traveling on the road to number 9 Georgia. Now this game, after I found the 10 games for me to pick, this was the last game I could predict. Like, I had such a tough time predicting this. Georgia Tech's offense is so good. They've definitely surprised me this year. I did not think they'd be in this position heading towards the ACC championship game. And Georgia, they only have 2 losses. They're at number 9. They played without Todd Gurley for about 3 or 4 games, but he has come back. And as much as I want to pick Georgia Tech just because I really like that school, I'm going to have to pick Georgia at home just because I think the defense of Georgia is better with Jeremy Pruitt, and I don't think Georgia Tech will be able to stop Todd Gurley. I'm going to have to pick the Bulldogs at home. As much as it kills me, that's what I'm going to have to do. Next, we have the one of the most important rivalries in all of college football. Personally, I don't really care for it. I'm not like a fan of these two schools. And this game should be lopsided, but I had to pick it just because it is considered to be one of the top 5 rivalries in college football. That is Michigan traveling on the road to number 6 Ohio State. Now, Michigan's complete garbage, and Ohio State's like a monster, so I'm I'm not even going to go into depth with this. I'll just pick Ohio State at home. It's an easy pick, but I had to pick it just because of the significance of this game for nationwide. So I'll take Ohio State at home. Next, you have another Big Ten rivalry game of number 18 Minnesota traveling on the road to number 14 Wisconsin. This is another game I sort of had trouble picking. I do like Minnesota as a team. I think they definitely improved this year, and congratulations to them for going to another bowl game and most likely getting a top 25 finish, so congrats to them. But Wisconsin's at home, and they have Melvin Gordon, and Melvin Gordon's just a monster, so I'm going to pick Wisconsin at home, even though I almost considered picking Minnesota to go on the road and get the slight upset. I'll pick Wisconsin at home. Next, we have finally a significant game of national relevance in this rivalry, and that is number 4 Mississippi State traveling on the road to number 19 Ole Miss. Now, mid-season, when both these teams were undefeated, I said before I was really hoping both these teams would run the table. I was really hoping they'd be undefeated heading into this game, because it would have been number 1 versus number 2. And in the beginning of the season, if people thought that were to happen, that would have been between Auburn and Alabama. But it could have been between Mississippi State and Ole Miss, but unfortunately it was not. Ole Miss has lost a couple of games recently. Last week to Arkansas, they dropped all the way down to number 19. They are at home playing Mississippi State. I do have some confidence in Bo Wallace, but I think Dak Prescott's the better quarterback in this game, and I think Mississippi State will go on the road and beat their rival once again for, I think, 4 out of 5 years this would be, so I like Mississippi State on the road. Next, we have a pretty significant rivalry for both these schools, and that is number. Neither of these teams are ranked. They're both 7-4. That is Notre Dame at USC. Now, this is the game I ended up replacing Virginia Tech. So I was going through the list, and I put Virginia Tech on there, but then I looked down, I saw Notre Dame and USC. I'm like, it's kind of significant, definitely more significant than Virginia Tech. So I had to swap them. So this would have been Virginia versus Virginia Tech pick, but swapped with Notre Dame USC. And Notre Dame, they were undefeated heading to Florida State, lost on the controversial penalty. Ever since then, it's been downhill. USC, they lost to their rival UCLA last week. It was kind of a close game. And USC also lost to Boston College earlier. USC's kind of had their own struggles, but I think USC will be able to win this at home. And next, we have my personal favorite rivalry. I have to pick this game just because it's literally the game that every Florida State fan and Florida fan looks forward to every year. And that is Florida traveling on the road to number 3 Florida State. Now, I was highly considering picking this as my upset special. Everyone's been talking about how it's the perfect setting for Florida to win, just like 10 years ago when Ron Zook did it. It's like the same kind of scenario, and I don't blame him. I only give Florida State about a 55% chance to win this. I really think Florida has a really good chance of winning this. The only reason why I still think Florida State can win this is because they're at home, and if they lose this game, it's no playoff for them. They can't afford a loss. Florida State doesn't have the luxury of playing in the SEC or Big 12 or Pac-12, where half the conference is nearly ranked in the top 25. And if Florida State loses this game, they can kiss their chances at the playoff goodbye, and most likely see an Orange Bowl game. That is, even if they beat Georgia Tech in the championship game for the ACC. Now, I'm picking Florida State to win. I would have picked Florida. This game's pretty much a coin toss, coin flip for me. It'll be close, but I think, once again, Jameis Winston finds a way to win. And another stat, every time I picked Florida State to win a game on a MattySports prediction video, Florida State has never lost. That could change this year, this game, who knows, but so far, every time I picked Florida State, they've always won, so I'm picking Florida State at home to win a very close game. Would not be surprised if it went to overtime or came on like a last-second drive for a touchdown or a field goal. And next we have my upset special of number 5 TCU traveling on the road to Texas on Thursday night, Thanksgiving Day. Now, I like Texas to upset. I think if Texas wins this game at home under Charlie Strong, it'd be a huge win for the program. definitely build some confidence heading into the bowl game and next season. This would pretty much shatter TCU's hopes because TCU is already kind of maybe not going to make the playoff depending on if Baylor beat Kansas State, since Baylor and TCU played each other already and Baylor won. So that's probably when the head-to-head would have kicked in. So even if TCU wins this, they still kind of had a slim chance of making it. They needed other teams to lose. And I like Texas at home to win this. I just have a feeling home game in a rivalry definitely favors the home team quite a bit. And I like Texas at home to upset TCU. And lastly, we have the game of the week where College Game Day will be going to. And that is number 15 Auburn traveling on the road to number 1 Alabama. Now we all know how amazing this game was last year, where Auburn got the 100-yard missed field goal return for a touchdown by Chris Davis. Alabama was stunned. It was one of the best college football endings I ever saw. I remember I was at my uncle's house. We were watching the Florida State game last year, and then we left about like 5 o'clock, took about an hour, 40-something minute drive to get back. And we made it home to like the last minute where Alabama was driving, and then we saw him kick the field goal. And then he was just able to run it back. It was definitely one of the most amazing football plays I've ever seen in my life. And Auburn, they've kind of been disappointing this year. They haven't been playing that well. They have 3 losses. And Alabama, they're at home. I think they're a much better football team. So I'm going to pick Alabama at home to win this game. But anyway, guys, this has been my Week 14 predictions video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, the games that I predicted, and any of the rivalry games I completely missed off this list. I can only pick 10, and I know there's a lot of rivalry games that are passionate to a lot of their fans, so sorry I couldn't pick your game on here. But that's pretty much it. This has been MattySports, and I'll see you guys next week for Conference Championship Week of Week 15. See you guys then.